Hey guys, it's your girl Katie, and I am back with an episode. We did this awesome retirement episode, and right afterwards, I got a text message from my friend Bruce that was like, "Hey, were you talking about me?" So let's get into it. So today we've got Bruce here. He's our disgruntled commenter. Just kidding. He's been kind of following the show for a while, and I was actually motivated by Bruce because when we did our retirement episode, it was really about the fact that I had been seeing a lot of people around town that just didn't have a purpose. They were finally retired, but then they were just wandering around, wondering what else is there to do besides play tennis and drink a bunch of alcohol. And my man Bruce has the perfect thing. So, Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you for
Nice
coming.
to be here.
We'd love to know. So, what was your career that you were in, like as an adult?
After the Army
Mm-hmm.
and a trip to beautiful Southeast Asia, I I spent 32 years in banking, and mostly on the trading side and investing side.
Okay.
And the last 10 years or so was management plus trading and investing in London.
Oh, wow.
Jane and I went to London. She had a great time doing shows and cultural stuff and traveling, and I had to work. And I traveled all over the world. My scope was Europe, Africa, Middle East,
Okay.
and Asia, and initially South America, but that got to be too much. I gave that up. So 10 years in London. What a great assignment.
Yeah.
Certainly a tar baby episode. Please don't send me to London. And none of my colleagues wanted to come and replace me, so I had a great time. All expenses paid
Wow.
by J.P. Morgan Chase. It was great.
That's great.
I got to meet all sorts of people: Margaret Thatcher,
Oh, wow.
John Major, the prime ministers, all sorts of interesting. Gordon Brown, the finance minister, later prime minister. I was at the birthplace of the euro currency in Frankfurt, and the first day of issuance, trading, whatever. And I really got involved in lots of different things
Mm-hmm.
in London with the single currency, the computer conversion
Yeah.
at the turn of the century. I was in charge of Europe, Africa, Middle East computer conversion, and had
Like
lots.
the Y2K?
Yeah, and I had lots of great people helping me, and even though one of them filled up my bathtub that evening, worried about the water pressure or something. Anyway, after that, I got lucky. They merged with J.P. Morgan. I was the gray hair person, so I got they executed my contract, and I got to go on 2 years garden leave, all expenses paid, and then retire at 55.
At 55?
At 55.
Okay, so like back up 1 second. So what was when you were doing this, you actually had an awesome life. So it's a little bit different, right? Like sent to London, meeting all these awesome people, all expenses. Did you have a plan at that time? Like were you like, okay, I'm going to retire when I'm 55? Or did you have a plan?
I did. My dad worked 35 years in banking, retired at 60. His desire promptly had 2 strokes, broke his hip, his leg, had a heart attack, and that was the end of his otherwise very poor quality of life until he died.
Wow.
I was traveling massively, neglected my health and welfare a little bit because of my massive travel schedule, as far as Australia and up to Japan and back to London, and a few stops of, can you be in New York this morning at 4 a.m., take the Concorde, go to New York, fly back overnight on the red eye, that kind of stuff, that kind of life. So it got a little hectic after 10 years. I was pleased when they said, we're going to give you all this parachute stuff and off you go. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Don't throw me in the briar patch. We had bought a place in Steamboat, Colorado, a 35-acre field on the Yampa River. The Yampa River goes from the up in the mountains and the flat tops and the circles and flows all the way to Dinosaur National Park into the Green River and then subsequently into the Colorado. We also bought a townhouse. We showed up in Miami on January 1st of 2001, and we spent a couple of weeks here in Naples getting used to our condo, furnishing it off the Steamboat to our condo again. Jane built a house out in the field, a hay field, and we've been there ever since. First year I slept for 12 months. I was really tired. Then we started traveling again, which most retired people do for, 5 or 10 years. Then I got bored, went back to work as a director, and took a company public with me, and was thinking about going back to work for this company full time, but I just couldn't stand to leave Steamboat.
Yeah.
And so, and it wouldn't be fair to Jane to drag her back to New York. So, even though she probably would have liked it.
I was going to say.
All the shopping.
Talk to Jane about it after this.
And so then we had a bunch of body repairs, knees, all sorts of goodies that people who start aging get and need to be fixed. And that took care of that. Then about 65, I discovered exercise.
Oh.
For the first time, I went to a class with Jane. She'd been going for a year, and it was about what I call a boot camp type class, full body weight, and they had weights and machines and all that. And I got interested in that, and I've been doing that for 13 years, 3 days a week.
Very nice.
Up in Steamboat, I did it here for 10 years until Bob retired, giving classes down at Fleischman at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Now I just go to the gym in the building and do it myself. And so I'm still interested in that and plan on doing that as long as I can not fall down at the gym. And you got to work on your balance when you get to be 78.
Yes.
So about 10 years ago, I was just sitting there watching a river go by, and I said, I need something else. And I bumped into an old veteran about my age from Vietnam, and he said, why don't you help the veterans groups in Steamboat, the VFW and the American Legion?
Yeah.
So I started going to meetings for a year. I kind of watched what was going on, didn't want to interfere with their traditions, just watched. And about a year later, I said to them, you guys, you help a lot of people who aren't veterans, but you don't help any veterans. What's going on here? I don't understand why you exist if all you do is give your money away to good causes, but have nothing to do with veterans.
We were just talking about this. Let me just back that up for a second. So basically, for a year, you're going to the meetings and you're seeing like, okay, money's coming in, and then the things that they're putting into action literally have nothing to do with the veterans who need help in the country.
Right.
Okay.
And they had a Veterans Relief Fund. They hardly ever used it, which I pointed out to them. And I said, let's try to spend that.
Yeah.
And so we did spend it finally on a number of members who needed help, particularly around Christmas time.
Okay.
And for various things, broken refrigerators, 4 flat tires, a month's rent because they were sick, things like that. So that started to get into the business of giving to veterans and helping veterans move house and so on.
Okay.
And shovel snow for the younger people, not me, but the younger people. So I've been doing that for a long time. And then in 2023, the VFW was headed toward bankruptcy. They had a building, it burned. They were massively underinsured because they hadn't looked at their insurance policy since 1948. And it was going to go under, and they had this wonderful building on Main Street in Steamboat. So 6 of us got together. We talked them out of the building. We talked them out of their insurance money. We gave them 20 grand back to recapitalize their VFW post. And we went out for the next 2 years and raised $3.4 million. The building is between 9th and 10th Streets in Steamboat, right near the new City Hall, this massive monolith they built. And our building was built in 1898. It is the second oldest building in Steamboat.
Wow.
And it's got brick walls, it's got rock walls, it's got murals, it's got beautiful front, which was most of it was still intact, original wood. And we, working with the Colorado Local Affairs Agency, their historic preservation section, the Department of Forestry under Agriculture in Washington, and under the direction of the county, the city, and who knows else, the Historical Society, we historically renovated, and we're about 99% done.
Oh, nice.
And it will debut softly on May 17th or 18th.
Oh, great.
And we renovated it, and it looks like it did in 1898.
How cool is that?
And we were able to save all the interior posts and beams, and we refinished them. Everything in the building, other than we had to put in a structural steel internal skeleton, because the building department was afraid it might fall down, even though it hadn't fallen down in 125 years.
It was still standing.
And we had to put a new roof, and we had to put a new addition on the back because the old one was full of moisture. And we created a veterans living room, a veterans activity room, a couple of offices for veteran service officers, and a full service kitchen, and a little addition on the back, which houses the kitchen on the bottom floor, on the ground floor. And upstairs, we created an office for the VFW and the American Legion in perpetuity for their generous contribution of the building. The building just east of us was historically renovated partially. It is a very upscale interior design store, Rumors. Please check it out. And the building next door is the oldest building in Steamboat. It's red brick. Bricks were made in Steamboat in 1896. And we're certainly hoping that the owner will consider historically renovating that building too, which will make all three on that block.
And then really before you guys did that, like we had talked about because I actually visited Bruce, and we had talked about how a lot of the people didn't have a place to go, right? It's like there was no place for the veterans in town. So they were having to like get rides out of town, or wasn't there like even an instance when we were there where somebody needed help and then they had to get like into the next city or something to get a bed?
Well, initially when we started looking at this, all the requests went to one person, regardless of what kind of vet it was, regardless if he was a VFW member or American Legion member. Jim Stanko, a longtime rancher and civic activist in Steamboat, would take care of things. But when Jim was out of town, nothing happened, and he was very busy. He was on congressional committees and state veterans committees and so on, and so we really had to have more organization. So our new organization, called the Veterans Center, we have created a veterans supermarket of services. Cool. And we have all these partners who are all over the place, who don't talk to each other, but all service veterans. And so we'll be directing traffic to those partners that we have. We have about 24, mostly nonprofit organizations, but not all. In Steamboat, we have our own psychologist. We have a couple military doctors who are going to help us out, and lots of other mental health professionals. The number one problem with vets is suicide. It's 8 to 10 times the civilian rate.
Jeez.
Veterans, active duty, and so on. And that's really the problem we're going to hammer out first and help as many vets as we can. The younger vets do not join fraternal organizations, partially because they don't have a great reputation of helping vets. They were too busy helping somebody else. Good not things, but anymore. Not necessarily vets. So we've refocused our community, not only our county, but the adjoining 4 counties who also have very weak and old veterans organizations who are kind of drifting into obscurity, which is a national trend. Most of them are Vietnam vet era people like me. And we need younger blood. So luckily, we have younger folks on our 6-man board. 4 of the folks are younger than Jim and me. And we are focused on helping Afghan and Iraqi veterans who have migrated to Northwest Colorado because of all the outdoor activities, biking, hiking, ballooning, kayaking, fishing, hunting, and so on, and snowmobiling.
All the ings.
And we're focused on those folks who most of them have young families. They have to work 1 or 2 jobs. They need help, and they're so busy they don't have a lot of time. So we're trying to provide that extra help for them, and they can just drop by and say, I need help, and we're going to take care of them. If we can't do it, we'll give them to one of our partners.
Yeah, find someone who can. So that's a big thing, you guys. Retirement, obviously it came kind of early for you, and you spent like 10 years traveling and having fun, but then you were like, okay, I need to do something more. And look what he's able to do now, right? So just think about the things in your community right now that you're ignoring, or that you have no idea if they're operating. You don't know if the money that's actually being donated to certain causes is actually going to help the actual people that it's set out for. Something is being given to you. You're given a prompt. We're all given a prompt, I believe, by God, to give and to serve a certain point of our community, whether you fought for this country, right? So you were given that, and you have that. And so we're given these things, and we're going through all these different trials for a reason, right? So that when we are on the other end of it, we can actually reach back down and grab somebody who might need some help. So I'm so thankful that you actually felt that call, and that you were actually able to step in and do it, because all of the years in business, I mean, think about it. We're not just in business to do business. We're in business to then learn and then be able to guide and help other people. And I know that that's been a big passion of yours, to kind of get this building rebuilt and to make sure that Steamboat has this awesome presence for the VA. So I think it's so cool that you came to share that with us today.
Well, thank you.
I loved it.
I can tell you it's been very rewarding, and I'm going to look forward to actually opening the building at 10 a.m. and closing it initially.
We'll do a little recap.
2 a.m. or 2 p.m. for the first couple of months, and I'm really looking forward to working there 5 days a week.
Oh, I love this. So you're going to actually be in there.
I'm going to be there, and that's going to be my mission in life.
Oh my God, I love
as long as I can do it.
And I'll tell you that after that episode, you said, I'm so glad that I found the VA. He messaged me that I'm glad I found that, to give myself this extra sense of purpose after retirement, because you know how it is. I mean, do you have friends that you've seen that are kind of don't really have a purpose?
Well, that's why your previous retirement episode set me off, because, I see people going over to Venetian Village and, sitting around the coffee there and complaining about people or politicians. It's a lot to complain about.
Yeah.
And, but that's useless. That's boring. And if you're going to live your life just doing that, and then you worry about where you're going to have lunch, and then you're going to worry about where you're having dinner, and what store you're going to buy your next set of clothes from, this is not meaningful. Yeah. And you really need meaning in your life to extend it, and so it's good to the very last drop.
Amen. Well, thanks so much for being here. We want your comments. We want to know what you found a passion for after retirement, or if you're someone who's nearing retirement and you just don't know, we're going to give you links and show you kind of what Bruce has been up to, because what an inspiration. So we'll see you in the comments, and until then, stay elevated.